It's 3 a.m. and you're wide awake, staring at the ceiling, questioning the meaning of everything. Why are we here? What's the point of all this? These deep existential thoughts can be overwhelming, leading you into the realms of absurdism and nihilism, two philosophical perspectives that wrestle with the idea of life's meaninglessness. While both philosophies recognize the inherent lack of purpose in the universe, they offer very different responses to this realization. Let's start with nihilism. Nihilism, often associated with Friedrich Nietzsche, argues that life has no inherent meaning, value, or purpose. In a nihilist view, any attempt to find meaning is ultimately futile because, in the grand scheme of things, nothing matters. The universe is indifferent, and everything we do will eventually fade into oblivion. For a nihilist, the ultimate truth is that there is no higher purpose, no guiding force, and nothing we can create or pursue will change that. It's a philosophy of acceptance, an embrace of the void and the understanding that life is, at its core, meaningless. Now, let's contrast this with absurdism, championed by Albert Camus. Absurdism starts with a similar recognition. Life is meaningless, and the universe is indifferent to our existence. However, instead of succumbing to this lack of meaning, absurdism emphasizes the struggle between our desire to find purpose and the impossibility of ever achieving it. This tension, according to Camus, creates the absurd. The absurd is the conflict between our longing for clarity, order, and meaning and the chaotic, indifferent nature of the universe. Absurdism doesn't ask us to abandon the search for meaning, but rather to recognize the futility of it and continue to live anyway, boldly, without surrendering to despair. Imagine it like this. Nihilism is standing at the edge of a cliff, staring into the void and saying, "It's pointless. Nothing matters." Absurdism, on the other hand, is standing at the same cliff, acknowledging the void but defiantly shouting, "Even though it's pointless, I'm going to live fully, create meaning, and push forward." To explore this further, let's take a practical example. Imagine a person working their whole life to create something, a business, a family, or even a legacy. The nihilist might say, "Why bother? In a few generations, everything you've worked for will be forgotten, and the universe will continue on without you." This view can lead to a sense of hopelessness or apathy, where nothing is truly worth pursuing because, in the end, it all fades. The absurdist, however, acknowledges the same ultimate conclusion, that one day, everything we do will be forgotten. But instead of giving in to hopelessness, the absurdist sees value in the struggle itself. They say, "Yes, life is meaningless, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't live passionately and fully." The act of living, even in the face of absurdity, is where we find purpose. In Camus' famous essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, he compares life to the myth of Sisyphus, a man condemned by the gods to push a boulder up a hill, only to have it roll back down every time he reaches the top. For Camus, this repetitive, futile task represents the absurdity of life. However, he argues that we must imagine Sisyphus as happy, because even though his task is meaningless, he continues to push the rock. This act of rebellion against meaninglessness is what defines the absurdist mindset. So, where does this leave us in comparing nihilism and absurdism? Nihilism accepts that life is meaningless and stops there, leaving us with a sense of futility. It's a cold, rational conclusion to the question of existence. Absurdism, on the other hand, recognizes the same meaninglessness, but encourages us to keep living passionately despite it. It's not about finding meaning, but rather about living in defiance of the lack of it. Absurdism says, "Yes, life has no ultimate meaning, but that doesn't mean we should stop living it to the fullest." In the end, both nihilism and absurdism grapple with the absence of inherent meaning in life. But while nihilism may lead us to disengage and accept the void, absurdism pushes us to embrace life, to struggle, and to find joy in the very act of defiance. So, which philosophy resonates more with you? Do you lean toward the nihilist acceptance of meaninglessness, Or do you find strength in the absurdist rebellion against it? In a world without inherent purpose, the choice of how to live is ultimately yours. Thank you for watching.